Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Torey, and today I wanted to share a little bit of two things. So I recently received last month's release from Heba, from my little journal, or Heba Alisibai Creates. I didn't film a full unboxing video, but I did do a little reel with one of these stamp sets, and I just wanted to share them in a video as well because I did order this month's release and I wanted to share that with you too. So this video is sponsored by Heba, HebaAlisibai.com, I believe, and or my little journal here on YouTube. Two of these stamp sets at the time of my recording this video are already sold out, but I will link the new release videos in the description box below for you. If you're interested in these stamps that are sold out, go over to that video and leave a comment requesting that they be restocked so Heba knows that there is interest in a restock and she can kind of work around that and potentially get some more ordered if there is interest in a restock. So I'm going to start with last month's release. So there were 3 stamps, 2 6x8 stamps and a 4x6 stamp. Like I said, these two are currently not in stock, but they're good. So definitely go over to that video and request a restock if you want to get your hands on these. This is the coffee board stamp set, and I will be using this little stamp from one of these 2 board stamp sets in my video today, the process that I'm going to do. Very cute. This is the one that I used in my reel. I will also kind of maybe pop that up on screen like over here or something as a quick little video. I think it's also up here on my YouTube channel and in my Instagram reels. This one is the reading board, which is pretty much the same as the coffee board, but different. So this one's all about coffee, and this one is all about reading and has a couple little reading icons down here. While this one is all about coffee words, and then there's like little coffee icons on this one. These are both just so good, and I love this little kind of empty board here that you can use to stamp out these words on the side, or you can do what I'm going to do, and I'm going to stamp this out and use it for journaling. This next stamp is the weather forecast stamp. This one is, like I said, still available, and let me tell you, I struggled a little bit trying to think of some ideas that you could use to best utilize a weather stamp. Like obviously if you have a daily journal, that is a great way to use a weather stamp for daily weather documenting. If you're not using a daily journal though, I was trying to come up with some good ideas for ways that you could use this stamp to kind of list off for you in this video. I came up with a couple of them, and I'm actually going to do a process video of one of those ideas today. So one of them that I thought of was for these daily month documenting projects like October daily or December daily, things like that. Often those projects come with like a month-long calendar, and I think that these stamps would be perfect to just every day of that month just stamp out what the weather was like. There's also some phrases down here which are super cool. You can use them to just document like a really good day or a really bad day of weather as well. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to document in my Listing My Life notebook. I'm actually going to document my 3 favorite weathers, if that makes sense. So I tend to love thunderstorms, so I'm going to use the little thunderstorm icon. I like cloudy days as well, so I'm just going to use the little cloud icon. And then I like sunny and windy days. So those are the 3 days weather patterns that I tend to like the most for just like different things. Like I love cloudy days for taking photographs outside. I love thunderstorms for being able to sit inside and just read and listen to the thunderstorm. And I love bright and windy days because the wind makes it less hot. And then, you know, who doesn't love a nice sunny day anyways? But I prefer there to be wind involved. So that's what I'm going to document today using this weather stamp set. And then these ones, I purchased these ones myself. These are from the October release, and they're so fun. So we've got this new alphabet stamp. This is the Florence alphabet. And I'm also going to use this one in my little process video today. And then we also have the Oh My Word stamp set. There is a curse word on here, so I'm not going to read all of them or anything like that. But this is fun. I really like this stamp set for just documenting some feelings via short words. So these are both super fun and both available on Heba's website right now. So yeah, there's a lot of good stamps. Honestly, me personally, I love the stamps that Heba creates, and I'm so happy to have received some of these from her to use and share, and then also I'm just buying them myself because I love them so much. So we are going to jump right into my little process video, and I'm going to flip over to my voiceover self to kind of voiceover record all of that process for you. I'm going to grab just a few more things in order to really get this process video started. I've grabbed my Hinoki Traveler's Notebook, and in this little Traveler's Notebook set, I have my Happy List notebook, which I use for my listing my life entries. So far, I've only got 2 in here, so I'm hoping to work more in this because I really do enjoy creating these spreads. I'm also going to pull out a blank piece of cardstock and a piece of patterned paper that was from Allie Edwards, though I have absolutely no idea what it's from. It might be from like the Numbers or the Rainbow scrapbooking kit. I have no idea. I've also pulled out my mini Misty. I'm going to use that to stamp this blank board, just so that I can stamp multiple times to make sure I have a nice clean and clear impression. Since I have my cutter out, I'm going to trim down this patterned paper to be just a little bit smaller than the actual page that I will be taping everything to. I wanted to have like just a nice background for this particular spread. And then I'm going to grab that piece of plain blank cardstock, and I'm just going to trim it down to be around 4 by 6 inches because that is where I'm going to be stamping most of my stamps this time around. So I'll grab back out my mini Misty, and I have like a sticky sheet, I think like a waffle flower sticky thing in here, so that I don't have to worry about using magnets to keep everything where I want it. And I'm just going to place that down in the corner. And I'm placing it directly in the corner because I want to be able to just flip my paper around so that I can stamp this out 3 separate times. I know I'm only going to be documenting 3 of the weather icons, so I want to stamp this out 3 times because my plan is to add kind of like a little title to each one and then write in the board like what my favorite, like what the reason is that that's one of my favorite weathers. So I'm just getting this stamped out, and like I said, I will do that 3 separate times. And while I'm doing that, I would love to know, do you have a kind of documenting method to just make lists about yourself? I've only seen a few people do these. I've seen, I think Lail by Mail is what her YouTube is. I've seen her do like listing documentation. I think, what is it called? List with me's, I think is what she calls it. So I don't know specifically like exactly what she documents because I haven't watched very many of her videos, but I really wanted this notebook to just be like a ton of lists specifically about me and the things that I like and the things that I feel about things. So that's what I am going with, and so far I have really enjoyed doing this documenting method. So I would love to know if you document in this way as well. Let me know how you document and how you enjoy it. So I don't have like dies or anything for these, so I'm just going to pull out my little trimmer scissors, and I'm just going to cut this very, very close to the line, but I'm leaving like probably a millimeter of white space around each little box. I really like the outline look that it gives, so I'm just going to trim super close, but not all the way up to that black line that I stamped. And then I'm going to pull back out the weather stamp set, the weather forecast stamp set, and stamp out my icons. Now, I stamp out one of the incorrect icons. It's going to be this next one that I stamp out. I should have stamped out the sun and the wind, but I stamped out the sun and the cloud. And I won't realize this until I am almost completely done with my spread. But we will come back and re-stamp that out and get that fixed towards the end. But I'm going to get like almost 90% done with this before I realize I stamped out the wrong icon, and I just didn't even realize it. I don't think that I realize it until I am typing out my title, until I'm stamping out the title for that little section. And then I'm like, wait, that's not the wind icon. I have a 1-inch circle punch that I will be using to punch out each of these icons. So it's got like a little circle around it. And then I'm going to color these in with some alcohol markers. I'm going to be using some Copic alcohol markers in order to get these little icons colored in. I don't have very many Copic alcohol markers because they are so expensive, but I do have a little tiny stash of them that I've purchased to try out, and some colors that I really, really liked. I also have been using this entire video some Memento black ink. I have seen so many card makers on YouTube using this particular ink whenever they're coloring with alcohol markers, and it never really appears like they have many issues with it. And I struggle. I am a very impatient person, especially when it comes to waiting for things to like dry. And I always end up smearing my inks when I want to color with alcohol markers because I didn't wait long enough for it to dry, and have to end up leaving things out like overnight. So I purchased this ink because I wanted to test it and see if it would smear the black when I was coloring with these markers. And I am so happy to say that I didn't have any issues with my black ink bleeding when I colored over it with the alcohol markers. And this ink didn't actually stain my stamps very much. There might be like a slight coloration on it, but it's almost not noticeable at all, which is another positive. So I am quite fond of it and will probably continue to use this whenever I use alcohol markers. So I have pulled out, I believe, 4 total is what I'll end up pulling out. I have a gray, a light blue, and a yellowy orange color that I will be using just to color in like the clouds and the moon, not the moon, the clouds and the sun. And then I will get everything kind of adhered down. I also have this W00 color, which is a warm gray that I really, really like. And I just colored that around the outside edge of the circle, so it kind of separated it a little bit more from the actual white background of this board. So I've got my kind of journaling spots here. There's not going to be any photos in this particular spread, so it's mostly just going to be my little journaling and my stamped out title. So I'm going to move forward and start getting things adhered down onto my page. It's just going to be a single page that we are documenting today. I don't know what I'll be doing on this next page yet, but I will likely try to make it match this one just a little bit. So I am hanging off each of these little icons about halfway from the board stamp. And that is kind of how I'm going to differentiate what board is what. And then I will also add a little stamped title with the Notebook Therapy typewriter alphabet stamp set. I don't know if this one is available anymore, but I will check, and if it is, I will link it below. I think I can also pull the link from a past video because I've linked it in the past. So I'll see what I can do. I don't know if it's available though. I'm going to get these adhered down and just kind of stack them angled on top of each other and then tucked behind and in front of each other as well. So it gives it kind of a nice little skewed look that I really ended up liking, especially with the way that I have the icons and the little board stamp. I am quite pleased with how this looks. I will grab the Florence alphabet stamp and I'm going to stamp out the main word of my title, which is just going to be weather. And then I will grab that Notebook Therapy alphabet stamp as well. And I'm going to add my fave really tiny above the big bold weather. And then I will use that same stamp set to add a little mini title to each section. Underneath the storm cloud, I'm going to write stormy. Underneath the regular cloud, I'm going to write cloudy. And then I'm going to write windy underneath the last one. And then that's when I will realize that I messed that one up and go in to fix it. So we are just going to fix this last one real quick. I'm not going to try and pull that cloudy and sunny icon off. I'm just going to glue or tape this new one right over top of it. I will say this is fixed now, but as I was recording this video, I completely forgot that I also colored the outside or the outline of the circle with that light gray marker too, but I don't do that in the video because I forgot. I will color the sun in, and that's really all I'm going to color in with this marker. But after I realized that I didn't do the outline of that one because in person it was actually quite noticeable, I went back in and I just colored that in. So I'll get that taped right on top of that other icon, and then I will add some journaling to each little section, just basically saying the same thing that I said at the beginning of this video, and that's it. I would love to know your thoughts on this page down in the comments below, and that's all I've got for you today. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!